Yes, indeed, guys. Welcome back to the channel. It's Jay Jordan here, and today we're going to recap the Liberty's home win against the Phoenix Mercury earlier today. The Liberty won this game 89-71 in downtown Brooklyn. It was a sellout crowd for this Father's Day matinee. Game was at 12 p.m. Eastern. I didn't get there until halftime because I had work, but we saw a good game. Liberty got a win, avenged their loss against the Dream on Tuesday, and are back in the win column. In this video, we're gonna go over the game today. I went back and watched the first half on DVR, and we're gonna go over some of the press conference reactions, some of my thoughts, and then we'll head out of here, guys. As always, if you like this content, make sure you subscribe, make sure you hit the like button, and make sure you hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever I post new content. Alrighty, so the Liberty, as I mentioned, won this game 89-71. I wanted to see how Breanna Stewart came back after having her all-time probably worst shooting performance ever. I think she made only one field goal last game, still ended with 12 points, but I think she went 1 for 14, 1 for 12, something like that. And we ended up losing. So I wanted to see how aggressive she would come out this game, trying to set the tone. And it was not a must win, but we needed to avenge that loss against a struggling team. Let's touch the starting lineups. Starting lineups were somewhat of the usual, a repeat of last game for the Liberty. Sabrina Ionescu still out with a hamstring, so we went with Courtney Vandersloot, Maureen Johannes, Benijah Laney, Breanna Stewart, and Jonquel Jones. For the Mercury were missing their top people as well. They were missing Diana Tarausi. She's out with an injury that she picked up. I think it's hamstring as well. And they were missing Brittany Griner with a hip injury that she sustained in the Seattle game, I think about 2 games ago. So they were, and Skylar Diggins Smith, she's been out the whole season. She's on maternity leave. So they started Suge Sutton, Mariah Jefferson, Sophie Cunningham, our ex-player Michaela Onyenwere, and Brianna Turner. Salute to Michaela. She was the rookie of the year for the team in 2021. Played really good for us. She was a part of the trade that brought Jonquel Jones here to us. So, for the first quarter, the Liberty came out firing. As I figured, they would try and get Brianna involved early to get her some touches, and she did. She got the first basket of the game. The Liberty jumped out to a quick 7-0 run before a timeout was called by Phoenix. To end that quarter, we assisted on 11 of the 12 made field goals in that quarter. So the ball was popping all over the place. The ball was moving. Phoenix was struggling on offense themselves. Stewie came out firing. She finished with 12 points in that first quarter, and we ended that first quarter leading 30-17. 30-17 in the first quarter. So you think, oh, leading 30-17, that's a coastal win, right? Well, the second quarter, I mean, you would have thought the same thing. The second quarter, we did have some issues with our transition defense off of makes and misses. Without Brittany Griner on the floor, they were really trying to push the ball off makes and misses, trying to beat our defense down the floor. And Suge Sutton, this is the first time I actually watched her play. Without those other people, without Diana on the floor, without people who take the ball out of her hands, she was really pushing it, getting downhill. Sometimes she was making the right decisions. They were missing some easy layups, but I'll credit that to our defense. I'll shoot our defense some bail on that. But they were really trying to push in transition. There was a sort of a scary moment in the game. Michaela Onyenwere, she tried to draw a charge on Jonquel Jones. As Jonquel was catching the ball, she came down and hit her with an elbow right in her face. She was down for a minute. Was able to get up and walk to the locker room, but she didn't return to the game. They said with a face injury. So, but she was on the bench icing it. It looked very bruised. So, hope all is well in that area for her. Another interesting point was that Marine Johannes, she didn't attempt a shot that whole first half. She was trying to dish the ball off. She was playing, well, I wouldn't say passive, but she wasn't really looking for a shot. She was really trying to get Brianna involved and move the ball around. I did notice that Sandy started mixing in some zone when a lot of the bench players came in, when our bench mob came in. The zone worked in some occasions. Sometimes we would get lost in the zone and give up some wide open shots. Thankfully, they missed in that second quarter. But I see she's trying to incorporate different types of zone. I've seen 2-3. I've seen like a 1-1-1-1-3. Like, I was seeing different variations of the zone, and it was throwing them off guard. There were a lot of rookies on the floor for Phoenix due to Michaela going out, and then of course Brittany Griner and Diana Tarausi being out. But still we continued to do her thing in that quarter. She finished that the half with 23, so she had 12 in the first, 13 in the 12 in the first, 11 in the second, so that left her with 23 points in the first half. Jonquel was looking a little spry. She was moving around, she was getting up to get rebounds, getting some putbacks. The jump shot is still not there. She likes doing this little one leg turnaround spin fade, and it's always been either short or too long. So her touch is still not there on the jump shot. But with time, as the games go on, she's starting to get better and better. So I'll shoot her some bail there. So we ended that quarter leading 53-34, 53-34 at the end of the second. So I mean, everything sounds fine and dandy. We're doing our thing, and then third quarter comes. Third quarter, nothing too much to write home about. I do want to mention we had the bench mob in towards the end of that third. I forgot to mention Epiphany Prince was signed on a hardship contract. So she came back with the team, and she was starting as she was coming off the bench as the point guard. So there was a little bit of miscommunication because also Jocelyn Willoughby was getting minutes as well. So there's some miscommunication there with some turnovers. They were trying to force the ball to Brianna in the high post, and the shorter players were just picking the ball off. There was two plays in particular where they stole their guards stole the ball off the big in the high post, ran down the floor, and scored easy layups, where Sandy, of course, had to call a timeout to stop that. But the fourth quarter is where things got interesting. Sophie Cunningham, I think she's really their only source of consistent 3-point shooting on that team. She came out firing in that fourth quarter. She had like 4 threes, hit a layup, got fouled, hit a technical foul shot. I think she went on like a 14-0, or she scored like 14, 15 points in the fourth quarter by herself. They cut our 19-point lead down to 8 at one point, 8 or 9, somewhere around there. But thankfully, we got a foul and we hit some free throws. Then they cut it back down to 8, and then Benai Jelani hit a jump shot to put it up to 10. And then Marine Johannes finally started scoring. She hit 2 big threes to put the game away for us in the fourth quarter. They started using a zone as well, because we ended up subbing our starters back in after the Sophie Cunningham started hitting all those threes. So we put our starters back in to try and stem the tide, and it sort of did. We started scoring a little bit more, started breaking down their zone defense, but we still had some possessions where we struggled with their zone defense, which is something that I guess Sandy will definitely try to emphasize, because with a better team, that definitely will hurt us. Just for emphasis, that bench mob was Epiphany Prince, Jocelyn Willoughby, Kayla Thornton, Niara Sabali, and I believe Steph Dolson was on the floor as well. So that bench mob was a little wonky lineup, trying to get some rest for our starters, even though they hadn't played since Tuesday. But I guess she was trying to Sandy was trying new things, trying to give people new experiences. But once they started making that run, she pulled the plug on that and got the starters back in the game, to her credit. So we ended the game. We ended that quarter. We lost that quarter actually, 21-20. but the damage was already done in the first half, so we ended the game 89-71. Let's take a look at the top performers from the game. Sophie Cunningham, boy, I tell you, Sophie Cunningham, 27 points. She scored probably 15 of those in the fourth quarter. Ended the game 27 points on 60% from the field. For us, Brianna Stewart, 28 points. She only scored 5 points in the second half, but that's okay. The damage was already done. Meg Gustafson, excuse me, 7 rebounds for her. Brianna Stewart, all over the place, 14 rebounds, 11 defenses for her. Another double double for her. Shug Sutton, 9 assists to 3 turnovers. I missed a lot of the assists in the first half, but she was really dishing the ball off, which is a good sign for the Mercury. They have a point guard there. And Brianna Stewart leading us in assists as well. She led us in every category, 7 assists, 1 turnover. All right, let's look at the team stats before we look at the box score. We outshot them 30 out of 62, which is 48%. They shot 27 for 64, 42%. 9 for 26. We need to improve our 3-point shooting if we're going to shoot so much. 9 for 26 from 3. That leads to 34%. I guess that's around league average, but if we could boost that up to around 40 or high 30s, that would be better. We went to the foul line a lot. 20 for 24, 83%. To their 10 for 13, 76%. We won the rebounding battle, which of course they didn't have their big woman, Brittany Griner. So we took advantage of that. Jonquil had a double-double and Brianna had a double-double. So with rebounds. So that helped. 39 to 27, 12 of those offensive. In that fourth quarter, I didn't mention we gave up a lot of offensive rebounds, but to the point guards, but our guards need to do a better job of boxing out. So 25 assists to their 16, so that leads us to 25 assists on 30 made field goals. On the broadcast, they kept mentioning the Liberty lead the league in assists, and I think they're tops in field goal percentage as well. So that's a good recipe. We just need to cut down on the turnovers. 6 steals. They led us with 8 steals. We had 4 blocks. We tied with 16 turnovers, and we really need to cut the turnovers down because against a better team, that's really going to come back to haunt us. Points in the paint, they outscored us 36 to 32. Outscored us on the break 10 points to 8. We had 19 second chance points to their 8, and they had 23 points off of our 22 turnovers. The largest lead was 22 for us. They never led this game, and we had 2 technical fouls, which was, I think, a defensive 3 in the key. All right, let's take a quick look at the box score. We'll start with Phoenix. Shug Sutton, 32 minutes, 10 points, 9 assists, 4 for 13. She missed a lot of easy layups. She was getting into the paint and was just missing layups. So I don't know. I can give half credit to our defense and credit to her for missing. Mariah Jefferson, 11 points, 5 of 13. Sophie Cunningham, 27 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 9 of 15, 5 of 10 from 3. Yeah, she really brought them back in that fourth, but it wasn't enough. Michaela Onyenwere, she was playing actually pretty well in that first quarter before she got that injury. 5 points, 2 assists. Brianna Turner, 6 points, 4 rebounds. Their bench, Meg Gustafson, 6 points, 7 rebounds. Shea Petty, 2 points, 2 rebounds. Sissoko, I think, is a rookie, 4 points, 5 rebounds. She caught a nice move on Brianna where she hit a up and under on Brianna and laid it in. Avina Westbrook, 5 minutes, no points, nothing, no stats for her. For the Liberty, Courtney Vandersloot, 8 points, 6 assists. Let me take a look at her turnovers. She had 3 turnovers, what we really have to cut down on. But a pretty solid game. We need to up those assists more, but with Sabrina out the lineup, that's to be expected. Marine Johannes, I think she scored probably all 10 of her points in the second half. 10 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, 4 of 8 from the field. Benija, 8 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist. Brianna Stewart, of course, 28 points, 14 rebounds, 7 assists, 1 steal, 1 turnover, which is great. And Jonquel Jones, I think it's our first double-double of the season, 13 points, 11 rebounds, 3 assists. As I mentioned, she looked much more spry this game. 5 for 10, so shooting 50% and made all her free throws. Had a nice block too. Steph Dolson, our bench. Steph Dolson, 6 points, 4 rebounds. Kayla Thornton, 6 points, 3 rebounds. Jocelyn, 5 points and some extended minutes. So she played 11 minutes. Epiphany Prince, no baskets, 1 rebound, 2 assists. And Yara Sabally, 5 points. So our bench did well today. 6 and 6 is 12. 5 and 5 is 10. So that's 22 points from our bench, which is a positive sign. All right. So that was the game in a nutshell. My thoughts, the only thing we need to cut down on is turnovers mainly and continuing to move the ball. The Every time we move the ball, we got a great shot, whether it was a wide open layup under the basket or a wide open three. So we also need to stop being predictable with our passes. Marine had a couple sloppy turnovers where she was trying to pass it over her head to Brianna and they would just pick it off. So we just need to stop being so predictable. Continue to move the ball efficiently and cut down on the turnovers, and we should be good. But that all comes with continuity. So as long as we keep practicing and keep working at it, we should be good. We'll touch on the press conference really quickly. There wasn't anything really too interesting for what I gathered online. One of the questions, I think they spoke to Brianna Stewart about what impresses her the most about Marine Johannes. Her answer was her ability to see everyone on the floor and the speed she comes off ball screens. Yeah, Marine comes off the ball screens, and then she shoots that little one-legged jump shot she likes to shoot, or she's looking to get downhill and hit a nice pass. There was a lot of talk about Brittany Griner being in her first game back in New York since being detained in Russia. Unfortunately, she didn't play, but a lot of people came to support, and a lot of the players gave her hugs from what I saw in the pictures pregame. What else we have here? There wasn't really too much in the press conference today. I don't know if they just didn't put it out on the Twitter, but wasn't anything too much. One thing I see here, Sandy Brandello spoke about the rebound advantage, the 39-27. She said that's an improvement on an area we really tried to focus on this week. We know we are capable offensively. It's nice when we're getting second chance points, and it's really a mindset. She did speak about Michaela, Coach Brandello. She said she's happy for her. It's always hard when you're traded from a team that drafted you, but I said this is an opportunity for her to get more minutes and to grow. So she knew that with what we were trying to do, Michaela probably wouldn't be getting as many minutes as she did in the past. So she's with that last game, I think she had 20 points. So she's thriving in her minutes. Coach Brandalo talked about the crowd because it was a packed house. It was more packed in the game on Tuesday. I don't know if it was because it was Father's Day or because Brittany Griner and Diana Tarausi were coming to town. But it was a packed house. I think they even opened up some of the upper, a couple of the upper seating areas. And I think that's really it. The Liberty are now 7-3. The next game isn't until Friday. They play Atlanta again down in Atlanta. The Dream, we need to get revenge on them. The Dream, ever since they beat us, they've been winning. They beat Connecticut a couple days ago, and they beat who they beat today. They beat the Fever today. So they're on the road trip, and they've been winning their game. So we need to nip that in the bud at their house. Hopefully, we can get Sabrina back for that game. We can get some more continuity. Slow down their three-headed monster of Ryan Howard. What's the other name? Alicia Gray and Cheyenne Parker, and then we should be good. All right, guys, I got nothing really too negative to say. It was a good win against an undermanned team, but you take the wins as you come. You can only play the people who are in front of you. Next game is Friday, as I mentioned. I will try and do a watch along probably earlier in the week for another game, because waiting until Friday is a little too long for me. But there will be a watch along on Friday. The game is at 7:30. I'll be on 7:15 to talk about starting lineups, what I expect from the game, things of that nature. So make sure you tune in. As always, guys, make sure you hit that notification bell so you're notified anytime I post. Hit that subscribe button, hit the like button on this video if you enjoy this content. Leave comments in the comments down below. Anything you want to discuss, I'll respond. Until next time, guys, salute.